love to watch people. I happen to love to watch people's faces, and you see him process the question, think about how to answer, and then like a eureka moment comes into his head and he gives an answer, which cracked me up. And the question is boxers or briefs? And obviously, for a man, who's known for humor writing, that is not a question you expect. And he thinks and he thinks, and then he says, depends. And I cracked up laughing.
Oh,
Still makes me smile. I mean, if he had that response that quickly, he must have been a phenom when he was younger, coming up with jokes on the fly like that.
Isn't he the 99-year-old man now?
Yes.
Unbelievable. He's unbelievable. Yeah. Anybody else gonna offer one, or I can go on with my own?
I have, okay.
Okay, good.
So who raised your hand?
Pat.
Yeah.
You want me to go?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll just tell one short one. Sharon's little story reminded me. Years ago, we were on the front lawn here at where we live, and I mean, many years ago, maybe 40 or 50, and we were out watching meteor showers, and so we're all sitting there, and our oldest son, Chris, who was probably about 5 at the time, I'm not sure, was there with us, and we're looking, and so he says, "Oh, there goes one," and Chris says, we had said, "Okay, we're going to be out. We're looking for shooting stars," and so somebody said, "Oh, there goes one," and Chris goes, "I didn't hear anything." He was expecting to hear a shot, shooting stars. Honestly, I have a longer one, but I don't know how much time we have.
We can take all. You want to think about it and come back, or you want to tell another one now?
I could give
someone else. This is what we're all about. We're laughing.
Okay, well, I'll do it. I hope it's not in bad taste. Anyway, Jim and I were just on a road trip, and we were listening to Dave Barry's book, Class Clown, which is his biography and autobiography. And it's wonderful. It's so funny. It's so well told. I mean, we just laughed and laughed. And at one point, Jim said, "Geez, if the car wasn't on full self-driving, I probably would have crashed." She was laughing so hard. Anyway, he was pretty well known for this one piece about low flush toilets. So I hope this isn't in bad taste. Anyway, I'll read part of it. And a lot of the book I highly recommend. And then if you go to his website, you can see a lot of his columns, and they're pretty hysterical. Okay, the toilet police. If you call yourself an American, you need to know about a crucial issue that is now confronting the U.S. Congress. Motto, remaining firmly in office since 1798. This is an issue that affects every American, regardless of race or gender or religion or beliefs or boxers. This is an issue that is fundamental to the whole entire cherished American way of life, all in capitals. This issue is toilets. I'm talking about the toilets now being manufactured for home use. This is, by the way, a 1997 column. They stink, literally. You have to flush them 2 or 3 times to get the job done. It has become very embarrassing to be a guest at a party in a newer home, because if you need to use the toilet, you then have to lurk in the bathroom for what seems like several presidential administrations. Flushing, checking, waiting, flushing, checking, while the other guests are whispering, "What is Pat doing in there? The laundry?" I know this because I live in a house with 3 new toilets, and I estimate that I spend 23% of my waking hours flushing them. This is going on all over America, and it's causing a serious loss in national productivity that could really hurt us as we try to compete in the global economy against nations such as Japan, where top commode scientists are developing super efficient, totally automated household models so high-tech that they make the space shuttle look like a doorstop. The weird thing is the old American toilets flush just the old American toilets flush just fine. So why did we change? What force would cause an entire nation to do something so stupid? Here's a hint. It's the same force that from time to time gets a bee in its gigantic federal bonnet and decides to spend millions of dollars on some scheme to convert us all to the metric system, or to give us all swine flu shots, or outlaw tricycles, or whatever. You guessed it, our government. What happened was, in 1992, Congress passed the Energy Policy and Conservation Act, which declared that to save water, all U.S. consumer toilets would henceforth use 1.6 gallons of water per flush. That is way less than was used by the older 3.5 gallon models. The toilets that made this nation great, the toilets that our founding fathers fought and died for, which are now prohibited for new installations. The public was not consulted about the toilet change, of course. The public has to go to work, so it never gets consulted about anything going on in Washington. But it's the public that has been stuck with these new toilets, which are saving water by requiring everyone to flush them enough times to drain Lake Erie on an hourly basis. The new toilets are so bad that there is now, I am not making this up, a black market in 3.5 gallon toilets. People are sneaking them into new homes, despite the fact that the Energy Policy and Conservation Act provides for, I am not making this up either, a $2,500 fine for procuring and installing an illegal toilet. I checked this out with my local plumber, who told me that people are always asking him for 3.5 gallon toilets, but he refuses to provide them because of the law. The irony is that I live in Miami. You can buy drugs here simply by opening your front door and yelling, "Hey, I need some crack." So I'm going to stop there. There's more to the column, but I thought that was
Hilarious.
He got a lot of response when he wrote that column, and I think he wrote several others on the same subject.
That's
Who
hilarious.
is it? Who is the author?
Dave Barry.
Dave Barry. F-A-R-E-Y or?
No, B is in Bob.
Dave Barry. Okay, thank
Yeah,
you.
famous humorist. He's written a lot of books, and they're mostly really good.
So anyway,
I think we got Stephen. I think we have Stephen up.
oh, Stephen, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I mentioned, Jan knows about this because I mentioned this to her and she actually encouraged me to send it to the New York Times. And it actually got a Reader's Choice Award. And this is an actual incident that happened to me about 30 years ago. I was
Stephen, a little louder for us out here. If you get by
I'll
the
get
mic,
closer. Is this better?
I guess.
Okay. All right. It was about 30 years ago. I was in Manhattan, just on a Saturday, walking down Wall Street because I had never been there before, and I noticed this deli was open. So I went in, and it was near lunchtime, so I ordered a sandwich, and I was chatting with the owner of the place, and I offhand just commented, "You're on Wall Street. Do you ever get any tips to play the market or any stock information?" And he stops making the sandwich, puts down the knife, and he looks at me in complete and total desperation. And he says, "Every morning they come here for their coffee, their sandwiches, their bagels, their cigarettes. And he points to the door and he says, and every morning they're out there on the sidewalk pushing and shoving on a door that is clearly marked pull."
So
True story.
I'm going to continue, but you guys keep them coming. I'm going to give you a few jokes, and these were some that Billy Crystal contributed. They're very short. Contributed to the Ever Active School program that he had heard about, and he wanted to make sure all these seniors and whoever called in would get tickled. So here's one of him. What did one hat say to the other hat? "You stay here, I'll go on ahead." Yeah. Okay. Are you ready to tell one, Tom? Are you at the microphone ready to tell a joke? Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay,
Yes.
everybody can hear. All right. A few days ago, Jill and I had the pleasure of going to Philadelphia. Jill says I need to talk louder. Is that true? Can you
Yeah, a
hear
little
me?
louder.
We went to Philadelphia this week, and my purpose there was to visit the Presbyterian Historical Society. in connection with the biography that I'm writing of Adelaide Branch, a woman who lived in the early Progressive era. I won't go down that rabbit hole right now, but I do want to share something that I overheard while I was in the research room at the Historical Society. They had these tables set up for where they would bring out the boxes and you could go through the folders of the archival materials. And I had my table. Over at the other table, there were these two older gentlemen, well into their 80s, I imagine. And I had the impression they were probably both Presbyterian ministers. And they were talking in conversational voices, and I could hear that they were researching. It seemed to be the history of an old Presbyterian church building, probably in the Philadelphia area. And they got to the section they were looking at very old minutes when they purchased the pews for the church, and some of the pews were roundish, and some of the pews were squarish. These are the words they used. And the squarish pews belonged to Unitarians. And the other one made a comment about Unitarians. He said that they're nice people, but when you try to talk to them about the gospel, they get mad. And this fits together with that, I thought. The Unitarian Universalist Sermon on the Mount. One Sunday, a Unitarian Universalist minister stood before the congregation and said, "Today, I'd like to deliver a sermon inspired by the Sermon on the Mount. But since we don't all believe the same things, I'll present it in a way that lets you take what resonates and leave the rest." The minister cleared their throat and began, quote, "Blessed are the poor in spirit," unless, of course, you interpret that as a metaphor for humility, in which case, blessed are those who are just really bad at Monopoly. Also, blessed are the meek, unless you think meek is a problematic term, in which case, blessed are those who are assertively non-confrontational. The congregation nodded thoughtfully. Blessed are those who mourn, but if grief isn't your thing, maybe just take a moment to appreciate the impermanence of all things, like that half-eaten burrito in your fridge. And blessed are the merciful, unless mercy feels too hierarchical, in which case, blessed are those who practice radical empathy without imposing their values on others. A few people in the back whispered, "Oh, that's good." Blessed are the pure in heart, though if pure feels too binary, perhaps just aim for authentic or well-intentioned. And blessed are the peacemakers, unless you think peace is a tool of oppression, in which case, blessed are those who disrupt systems of violence in a way that doesn't make anyone uncomfortable. A hand shot up. "Reverend, what about the part where Jesus says, 'Turn the other cheek'?" The minister smiled. "Ah, yes. Well, if that feels too passive, you could interpret it as set healthy boundaries, or choose your battles, or maybe just ghost them and move on with your life." Another hand went up. "What about love your enemies?" "Great question," the minister said. If you don't have enemies, that's fine. Just love people who mildly annoy you. And if you do have enemies, try loving them in abstract, or at least until they stop blocking your driveway. The sermon concluded, "And remember, the kingdom of heaven is like, well, it's like whatever you need it to be. Maybe it's a place, maybe it's a feeling, maybe it's a really good brunch. Amen. Or not. You do you." As the congregation filed out, one member turned to another and said, "I think I got more out of that sermon than I did from my last therapy session."
That's great.
So, Tom, do we have the thing ready to roll? Because I have something to say about it. The YouTube.
We have somebody else wanting to tell us.
Oh, okay. Sorry. After you.
My
I'm just-
name is Kate Riley, and I'm a recovering Unitarian. So I'm going to tell two Unitarian jokes. What do you burn on a Unitarian's lawn? A question mark. The other one is a guy named John bought a Ferrari. He went to the Catholic priest and said, "Father, I just bought a Ferrari. Will you bless it?" And the priest says, "Oh, John, it is so wonderful to give a blessing. Blessings are a gift straight from God. I got one question. What's a Ferrari?" And John says, "Oh, you don't know what a Ferrari is? You can't bless it." So he goes to the Lutheran pastor and says, "Pastor, will you bless my Ferrari?" "Same thing. Blessings are great. But what's a Ferrari?" Well, so he goes to the Unitarian minister and says, "John, will you bless my Ferrari?" And the Unitarian minister says, "You got a Ferrari? That's great. What's a blessing?"
Very good. So anyway,
First time.
so Tom, do you have the YouTube up? Is that going to be possible?
That's
Because if
gonna
it is,
take me a second. Can you-
okay, I'm just gonna do an intro to it. If you can put it up, that would be fabulous. Laughter is contagious. Laughter is like an infectious disease that you quickly spread to other people. It becomes hard to resist laughing when you hear other people laughing. Words like contagious and infectious sound bad, but actually, in the case of laughter, it is all good. So if you can put that on, that would be fabulous. And if you don't, I'll just keep on going. We
I
can't
could share something quick, Sharon.
I think he has it on
Oh,
already.
he's got it finally. Okay, good.
Okay,
Can you share the screen?
can you center it on the screen? Can
Hang
you center it
on.
on the screen?
Hang on, he's got to share it.
Yeah.
Sure. Start over. All right.
We can see it centered.
Hold on.
Okay, okay,
I'll share the screen.
okay. That's good.
There we go.
Can you see?
Yep,
Here?
yep.
Thank you.
No problem. Hope that made your day.
Yeah, you did.
Keep laughing.
Auto insurance all seems the same until it's time to use it with USAA.
So, Heidi mentioned,
On.
what?
Okay, now.
Okay, I can talk now. Okay. Heidi had mentioned Mel Brooks, and this is a Mel Brooks joke. And I do think this cracked me up because it's it's so silly. Anyway, a man walks into a grocery store and sees the shelves are filled with boxes of salt. He says, I don't mean to pry, but I see all these shelves filled with salt. Do you sell a lot of salt? And the man said, nah, I hardly sell 1 or 2 a week. He says, but the guy who sells me salt, boy, can he sell salt.
Good.
Okay.
Sharon,
Yeah.
I have one thing I'd like to share, and
Yeah.
this is it's not a joke. It's really, really good. We got a Christmas card from Tom and Jill, and I have it just over on my desk. And every time I look at it, I smile. And I hope you can see it. I don't. Where is my camera here? Oh, here we go. Look at those smiles.
Oh, look at those smiles.
Isn't
That's
that
pretty.
wonderful?
That's pretty great. Pretty.
Brightens up my every day.
It's great. Wonderful. That's so wonderful. So, does anyone else have anything, or else I'll just go on with a few of mine and we'll just move it on out. This is I have a lot of them, but I'll tell this one because I think this is kind of cute. A Jewish grandmother takes her baby grandson to the ocean for the first time. For the occasion, she has dressed him in a smart little sailor suit. Without warning, a large wave folds over the young boy and swoops him out into the ocean. The grandmother looks up at the sky. Please, God, save my grandson. I will do anything if you return him to me. I'll pray daily. I will volunteer weekly. Please, God, I will do anything. In a flash, another wave hits the beach and the grandson washes up on the sand. The grandmother looks at the boy. She looks all over, then looks up at the sky and says, he had a hat.
Good one.
So anyway, let me just say, so I have a lot of other jokes. Does anybody else have anything else they would like to say? I think I can tell probably.
I can borrow, I know two, one was by the comic David Brenner. He had often, in his routines, he often mentioned his Uncle Morris, who we know referred to, everybody in the family knew him as Uncle Momo. And one time he had this old easy chair that he was trying to get rid of because it was all worn out, and he offered to, he ran a yard sale, but nobody wanted to, among the things he sold, nobody wanted to buy it. So finally he decided he was going to throw it out, but the garbage collector wanted $20 to take it away. That's when he had a brainstorm. He dragged this dilapidated chair onto the front lawn and took a huge sheet of cardboard and wrote on it with a big felt marker, "Rare antique Panamanian reading chair, $500." And within 10 minutes, it was stolen. And the second was an actual incident that happened to cartoonist and artist Robert Crumb. He's now living in France, but he was visiting his daughter in New York City, and they were in the Barnes and Noble bookstore in Manhattan, and he got into a conversation with her, and apparently, like Crumb is known to do, he gets into a very animated conversation, raising his voice, waving his arms in the air, talking about things very profound. And then one of the clerks came up to him and just politely asked, "Can I help you with anything, sir?" And of course, Crumb, being the man he is, he turns to her and says, "Yes, what is the meaning of life? Is there a heaven? Is there a God? And if so, what does he want from us?" Without batting an eye, the woman just said, "Second floor, aisle 7, religion and philosophy."
Very cute.
That's cute. I could share something.
Okay.
Ms. T, to speak to the video that you showed, I was many, many, many years ago, I was going through my horrible divorce. It was such a bad experience. And I was living in Western Mass at the time. And through the library, I saw and I love jokes. I love to laugh. And I just wasn't. And they had put up a flyer for laughter yoga or laughing yoga or something like that. And I was like, well, that's odd. I've never heard of this. So I'm going to go and see what's going on. It's laughter. I really need more in my life. And I went, and it was much like the video you showed. We were all there, and it was so odd and uncomfortable and awkward. And we were laughing at first. We were like all just really trying to laugh. And then somebody snorted, and let me tell you, we all just busted out, and we're laughing at each other's laughter. Like we're getting a kick out of other people laughing. And it was so amazing. That's the only time I've ever seen that. But boy, it just really made me think of that. And I was thinking I would definitely go to another one like that.
I never heard of it. It's great.
Yeah, I think I need to call over to Chai Hive and find out, maybe we can get something together, because that was really wonderful. And I have to say, in my family, my dad and I were the jokesters, and we were the ones that would put on the funny skits and have everyone laughing. And I remember doing that with my when my older sister didn't feel well, she would grab me and be like, make me laugh. And I'd have to come up with things to get her to laugh. It was so much fun. But I would do April Fool's jokes, and I would do elaborate through my adulthood April Fool's jokes. And I think the best one was right after I moved to Rochester to work at U of R. And it must have been, it was in March, I think I moved, or a couple months, but my dental appointment was on April 1st and I had ghoul teeth. So I wore ghoul teeth to my first dental appointment, and everyone was so nice to me. It was so hard for me to stay deadpan.
That is
And then-
great.
until they were so nice. They were bending over backwards, being so kind to me and getting me into the office really quickly to get into the chair. And then the dental technician comes in and she goes, I'm going to get the doctor and we're going to meet the doctor. And, usually they work on you a long time. And then the doctor came in, and then the dental, and then I said to him, and I was like, hi, it's been a while. And since I've been to the dentist, and then he was like, yeah. And he sits down, and I said, oh, and what's the date today? Because I just couldn't do it anymore. And he goes, what's the date? And I said, is it April 1st today? And he goes, yeah, it's April 1st. And then I just popped out
It's hysterical.
the teeth, and they were laughing so hard. And let me tell you, yes, I remember almost peed my pants as being regularly said.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you for letting me share, guys.
That's a great story. So I guess we have now taken up a lot of our time. I can probably say a few more
Can I say
things.
one? I have one.
Oh yeah, good. I'm all for it.
My dad was a jokester all his life. He was always that smiley, happy guy, and so on and so forth. He also, would drink a lot sometimes, but he wasn't an alcoholic. But in the early days when I was little, they would go on Christmas Eve out, the crew that he worked with, they go out and have cocktails, and they come home, and so this one particular year, and this is a story I was told because I was too young to acknowledge it. He came home to put up the Christmas tree, because those are the days you put up the Christmas trees, the night before when the kids were in bed. He came home and he decided that the tree needed to be trimmed before it got decorated. He trimmed so many branches off of the tree that we had to get my uncle to come from across the street with something to put them back into the tree. That's how many branches he took off the tree. They had to be put back into the tree, and it just was very funny.
It's hilarious.
In
It's
the
hilarious.
family, so, yeah.
Hilarious.
That's great.
So I have lots of other jokes because I was afraid you guys weren't going to show up, but you were all fantastic. Thank you. I have one silly one I was going through all the different comedians, and I have one from Rodney Dangerfield, the guy who gets no respect. He said, when he was in Las Vegas, he went to the slot machine, he put in his quarter, and he came up with 3 prunes. So anyway, am I right? Is not hearing as much laughter as in the past, or is it just my imagination? The perception that we hear less laughter than in the past is driven by a combination of shifting communication and psychological changes that occurs as we age. While laughter remains a universal human behavior, it is increasingly being expressed through digital medium, LOL, rather than shared physical spaces. A 2023 study found that frequent laughter is strongly linked to in-person conversations and social activities, while consuming digital media does not have the same effect. As face-to-face communication declines, so do the shared and auditory moments of laughter. Otherwise, people generally don't laugh when they are alone. An average 4-year-old may laugh 400 times daily, while adults only manage to chuckle 15 times. Older people may replace laughter altogether with amusement. So many comedians draw from their unique cultural, ethnic, and religious upbringing to create relatable comedy, addressing themes of identity and daily life. Many of the early well-known comedians were Jewish, followed by the African Americans. Today, we can add Hispanic, Asian, and Muslim to the mix. They all have one thing in common. They all share the experience of persecution, survival, and a need to transcend difficult circumstances. I perceive this, that it may appear that all immigrant or ethnic people or people that feel sidelined choose to live in one neighborhood. And in some cases that may be true, but you may also want to consider the fact that sometimes those neighborhoods are designated for them, and it is not always just a choice. So I just want to, unless somebody else has something else they want to say, I can close out our service.
We didn't do the offering.
Oh, the offering, let's do that. So while we're doing that, I'll just throw it. Oh, I like this one from Billy Crystal. He says, "How do you keep a bagel from getting away? You put locks on it."
Oy, oy.
Oy is right. And the one thing that while I'm talking, is that I used to read some sermons by a Unitarian minister named Andrew Kennedy, and he always started with a joke. And when you do that, you warm your audience and they come to you. And so whatever you say after is probably going to resonate in some fashion, because you've already been warmed up. You warm up the audience. So thank you guys very much. And I just want to say one final thing. This is a Jerry Seinfeld quote. "It's not the easiest thing to do to try to put a smile on a face, but it's always worth it." And that concludes our morning of chuckles and laughs. Thank you all so much. You were real troopers.
Sharon, thank you.
Thank you, Sharon.
So anyway, I think it is time to extinguish the chalice. Thank you, Stephen. The flame is extinguished, but not our hope for the future, our courage in the face of crisis, or the love we share in all the world. And our closing words are very brief. Where flowers bloom, so does hope. And that is Lady Bird Johnson's quote. So thank you all so very, very much. I'm sure there's refreshments there, and I'll go see what I can drum up here for my refreshment. And thanks for the laughs, guys. It was really great.
Thanks, Sharon.
Thank you, Sharon. That was great. I loved it all.
Good morning, Sonia.
Morning,
Welcome.
Sonia.
Hi, Sonia. So good to see you.
The
I
service
miss
will be on the website.
Yeah. I love stand-up comedy. I really miss it. It used to be over at the Nutshell regularly. I used to go there regularly. That was fun.
You were there last night.
Yes, we were. That was wonderful.
So people are laughing. How good.
It was really a good show. It was
How
a
good
really,
is that?
really good
That's so
show.
great.
Yeah, it was Jonathan Charles Fox show. Yeah, he's
a
great.
great storyteller. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I recommend, if you ever see he's got a show, to go and attend.
Today, the Book and Puppet, the fellow who spoke to us a while back about book banning, he has something all the time. He has stuff like that at his bookstore. He's a wonderful addition to our area. I think I'm going this afternoon. He has some storytellers coming in, so I'm going to go see what they've got to say for themselves. All right, guys. Guess it's time to Get me out of here.
We're glad we spent this time together.
That's good.
And pull your ear. And I feel